Hello, my name is Samar. I also go by Sam or First Time Panner. Any of those you want to call me, you can. I'm trying different lighting, so instead of having my ring light and my lamp on, because I'm filming at night, of course, that usually does not work, especially at night, because it just gives this like greasy looking yellow tinge to everything. I'm trying with just my ring light, but now it's extra dark. Like, I'll show you. Oh, that is so bright. Like, with the lamp, it removes all the extra shadows, but it creates that weird lighting. So I'm trying to do it without that, and we'll just see in post-production how that works. But anyway, this is my update for my Pan Those palettes, and I am filming this only 10 days after I uploaded my last update for this. But I originally was going to film something else, and then I realized I could not film that. And I have progress, or at least something significant to show anyway, so I'm just going to do that. First, I'll start with the disappointment of the family. My Pan That Face palette in this packaging that's horrible for camera. This is what it looks like. It looks no different. The only things I've used are, I think I've used this for my, except for the highlight, I've used this for my face twice this past month because I was just rushing. Other than that, I've just used the blushes a few times, but as always, there's no visual progress, so I'm gonna just gloss over that. And then let me now talk about what's on my eyes, which is one of my shades from my Pat McGrath palette. This is the Eye Ecstasy Sublime. And of course I'm wearing this shade right here, the green shade, on top of that single shade that's in my Pan That Face palette right here. That's in my The Office Project pan. I always pair that with this shade from the Pat McGrath palette, so that's what I have on now. This is like the only use I've gotten on it since, on this entire palette, since last update. Maybe I used this shade, I can't, because it's been such a short time since my last update, and before that it was such a long time before that update. I'm getting things jumbled up, but once or twice is the amount of times I've used this since update 2. Now we'll talk about my Norvina. And last update 10 days ago, I showed you that I have this new pan in the shade Incense. I haven't used this palette though. I really should be using this for the Inner Corner Dreamer, but I just like always forget. If I'm not already using this palette, I always forget to open this up for Dreamer, even though I use this palette for my lid setting shade, or like blending out shade, Celestial. And speaking of that lid setting shade, I said in my first update that in my second update, which was 10 days ago, I was going to, like, after I filmed it, I was gonna like repress more product in there, and then I was like, I have like 2 weeks until I film my next update. In reality, less than that. So I'm just gonna do it after my third update. So sometime between now and my next update, I will be refilling this pan with more of the setting powder that I have in here, which is the e.l.f. Halo Glow loose powder. I have both the tangent, I have both the loose and pressed versions of that powder, and I just get absolutely no use on the loose powder, so that's just how I'm using it. I also use it to like franken stuff, but that is what I've been using like every day to either set my lid and or blend out my eyeshadow, and it works pretty well, so I'm excited to have a new pan of that. But yeah, I have not really gotten any more use on this since last update. But my plan moving forward, I think I might have mentioned this last time as well, is to hit pan in either Summer or Rose Gold, since those two have the biggest dips. And then of course continue expanding the pan on Incense. I don't know if I'll be able to finish this, especially since the matte shades for ABH palettes tend to get rust like this one did when I scraped. I mean, that one was a satin shade, so we'll see if like the true matte shades also get rust, or if it's just the satins. But if I do see rust in this pan, as soon as I see it, I'm gonna stop using it immediately. I'm definitely not going to risk my eyes at all. But yeah, that's the plan for this palette, which means the exciting update has to be in my e.l.f. Rose Gold Nude palette. And I hit another pan, as you can see, in this mid-tone matte here. I always say my first pans, I mentioned this in my last video, my first pans in every palette I've ever panned, like every palette, including when I was like panning my e.l.f. palettes in my Project Level Up 2 years ago. The first pan I hit in every palette is always the mid-tone matte shade. I don't know why, that's just who I am as a person, I guess. But I finally hit pan, and last time I was like, oh yeah, maybe just like incense, it'll be the next time I use it I hit pan. That was not the case. It took me 2 uses. I know, crazy. But I'm just really excited to finally have a pan in this palette. All 3 of these eyeshadow palettes I was also panning last year, and I did not hit any pans in them last year, so it's kind of just like about time. But the look that I was doing to hit pan, I was like basically panning a look, and maybe I'll swatch it out for you, but I was using this like first shade here to set my lid, and then I would use this one that I have the pan in as like my transition shade, and then I would take this like dark purple sequin shade and I will put that in my outer corner, and that's what I would like kind of lay the foundation with. So these 3 shades. Then all over my lid I would use this mid-tone pink metallic, which gets hard pan very easily. If you can see that dust, sorry. And like even just me using this now, it's basically creating hard pan. If you can see the change in like the finish of the pan, it's very, very annoying. I have to like remove it with tape almost every time I use it. But then I would use this like super light frosty pink on my inner corner, and then to blend, like I always use a shade, either one of my highlighters like I'm using today, or I'll use like a light powdery satin shade like this one. I use it to like blend together my transition matte and the shimmer that's on my lid. So for that I use this, which is it's technically like a satin, but it leans more on the matte side, so it's pretty similar to the base shade from the Aviation Harvina palette that I decluttered. Well, I guess when I swatch it, it does look pretty glowy, but those 3 here. So this is the shade, or this is the look that I was panning to finally hit pan in this. You can barely see it on my hand, on that shade, and I am so excited. My goal isn't necessarily to finish anything. Like if I do, that's great, but mostly I just want to hit pan in as many shades as I can. So what I'm thinking is, at least for now, I'm just going to like, instead of using this lid setting shade and this matte, I'll just be using this matte right here, which is kind of like in between these 2, to try to hit pan on this. And then of course pair it with like the dark purple in this palette. But then instead of using that pink metallic from that palette, which is honestly getting on my nerves, I was thinking of using rose gold, because I have used rose gold with this look that I'm panning instead of this pink metallic, and I honestly liked it a tiny bit better. So that's just my plan, at least for now, but I'll let you know what I actually end up doing in my next update. But what did I say but like that? For now, yeah, that's all I have for this update. I'm just so excited for my face palette. I said this last time as well, but I am like so close with my like liquid cream blush that I have in my other project, and once I finish that, it'll just be using these blushes. I'm not gonna roll anything else in for now. And spoiler, I just today finished my cream contour that I was using, so yeah, from now on I'm just gonna be using these 2. So there will definitely be, hopefully, more visual progress on this face palette starting next update, so you can look forward to that. And I can finally end my shame and my negative connotation with that Franken face palette. But yeah, that's all I have for this update. I will just see you in my next one, and hopefully I'll also see you in my next video. But until then, I just hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.